So I want to continue on our series that we're doing on learning to become a more dynamic speaker, a more dynamic presenter or communicator. Today we're going to talk about kind of 4 principles of the opening. The opening. You know, the opening is critical. As you can see, I actually wrote the opening seconds. You know, it's those early seconds that people are sitting out there and they have already done one of 2 things. They've already come in there not wanting necessarily to be there, so they're looking for reasons to confirm that. So if you come out of the chute and you do kind of a reintroduction of yourself and just kind of walking through introductory remarks, you're going to lose them. You're going to bore them, and they're going to already begin to confirm to themselves, this is why I didn't want to be here. This is why I don't want to waste my time. And now your ability to win them over becomes more difficult. So I always recommend get right to the point of what the day, what the hour, what that time is going to consist of. The other group of people come in there because they actually want to be there. And they're looking for reasons to confirm that also. So give them something very early in those early seconds. Give them reasons to confirm why they wanted to be there. And as you do that, you can then begin working off the energy of them being with you along the way. And that energy, the dynamic energy that comes from them being with you, begins to grow and it begins to spread throughout the room or whatever the meeting space is that you're in. Secondly, you have to arouse curiosity. This is a lot of times what you'll see speakers do. They'll start off with maybe a great quote. And let me say, it has to be a great quote. It can't be just some quote that isn't really profound. It's got to be something insightful, something that's relevant, something that really speaks to the audience in a way that's unique. So you want to arouse curiosity. Where is the speaker going with this? Why did they use that quote? I used to open up a lot of if I had people all day long for a training, I oftentimes would open up with a story, and the story was the story of my son. One day when I took him to throw batting practice, and I told him that he was about 9-10 years old. If he could hit the baseball and hit the fence at the high school baseball field, if he could roll the ball and hit it from home plate and it could roll to the fence, then I would buy him a banana split. And he ended up doing it. Somehow he just got a hold of a pitch and it rolled up against the fence, and he was so excited to get that banana split. And one of the things I always said to my son as a young man is I always said to him, Cooper, you're not going to hear me say these 2 words very often, but when I do, you can count on it. And it was the words, I promise. So as soon as that ball rolled into the back of the fence, I said, Cooper, you want a banana split from me, buddy. We're going to go get one when we're done hitting batting practice. And he said, you promise? And I said, yes, I promise. Well, we ended up finishing batting practice, and I had to go run some errands with him, and I forgot about the banana split. And that night, he's about to go to sleep, and he says, Dad, you broke your promise. And I remember I took that person. I said, what? And he said, you told me that if I rolled the baseball and hit the back fence, you told me you'd get me a banana split, and we never got one today. And it was like 10:30 at night. And I said, Cooper, you get up right now. We're going to Sonic. And we got dressed and we went to Sonic before they closed. We got him a banana split because that's how important it was to me that if I say I promise, I'm going to keep my promise. And I would tell that story and I'd say to them, so I'm going to make a promise to all of you. I promise that I will not waste your time today. That what we're going to talk about today is going to be relevant to your work and to your life, and this will be time well spent. See, that story would arouse some curiosity, like where is he going with this story? What is this I promise? And the I promise becomes connected to I promise I'm not going to waste your time. There's all kinds of ways to arouse curiosity with people. It could be a provocative question. It could be something that gets them to stop and go, how is he going to resolve that? What's the promise he's going to fulfill? Thirdly, you need to provide some level in the early minutes of your opening evidence for what you're talking about. It could be anecdotal or it could be scientific. It could be a study. It could be a personal experience where what you're talking about, you've seen it work for yourself. When people begin to see that what you're claiming is that what you're talking about works for you or works for other groups, or that there's polls or surveys or studies, people listen because they know this is going to be more evidence-based information that you're giving them. And finally, you have to come across as an assured person. There's got to be a level of confidence, the way that you hold yourself, the way you manage your posture. There is in a former video, I talked about the importance of poise. You've got to be in control, the way you look at the audience, the confidence that you exude when you're standing in front of them. Even if you feel nervous, you've got to be able to display a sense of external confidence, the way you look and the way that you demonstrate your body language to everybody. So these 4 things have to be a part of your opening. You've got to have the early seconds connect with the people, or you're going to get them confirming why they don't want to be there. You want to create an arousal of interest, a curiosity that you're going to scratch. Next, provide some evidence for why what you're saying has worked in the past or has worked in your life. And finally, you want to come across as assured and confident in what it is that you're saying. Practice these 4 things in your opening. You don't get those seconds and you don't get those minutes back. They're incredibly important in the opening of any presentation.